Welcome everyone to the UNICOMM podcast on supporting student engagement in higher education. This is our second episode. In our first episode, we talked about staff competences. What skills are needed to adequately support active student participation? Today, we're continuing this conversation, but we'll be shifting our focus to the well-being and self-care of staff. How can educators and also support staff in higher education take care of their own mental and physical health to ensure they can provide a safe, supportive environment for students? My name is Elke Welp-Park, and I'm joined by two wonderful guests, Dominique from the University of Vienna in Austria and Weronika from Kent University in Krakow. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Well, could you maybe just briefly introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your role at your university? Dominique, let's start with you.
Okay. Hi, and thanks for the opportunity of being here and participating in this podcast. My name is Dominique. I'm the coordinator of the Doctoral School of Computer Science at the University of Vienna. So this is basically an additional funding and support program for doctoral students. As far as I know, every faculty at the University of Vienna by now has their own doctoral schools. I'm, as I said, responsible at the faculty for computer science or informatics. You can imagine my role as something as the managing director. So I'm mainly responsible for all the administrative support in the doctoral school, the implementations of regulations and changes given by the university. And I'm also the first contact for doctoral students. So I'm not really working on curricula or teaching, but I'm responsible for the budget, for the membership in the doctoral school, and in case the doctoral students need anything, I'm their go-to person.
Very interesting. We'll get to that later. Weronika, what's your role at your institution?
Hi, thank you for having me here today. I'm simply a teacher. I teach psychology in Psychology Institute at my university. I teach our Polish students. I taught the Erasmus students as well, so different students from different countries, so also different experiences. Beside that, I'm also a psychotherapist and I work with patients in my office.
Thank you. Weronika, maybe just stay with you. Defining student engagement is not easy. What does that mean to you, and how do you see student engagement playing out in your day-to-day activities?
Yeah, I think it's hard nowadays because sometimes students think about university like their another job, so that's not their main task or main thing in their lives, just it's a mean to something. So that's hard to engage students. And also when I have so many students that I am teaching, then it's hard to, always remember everyone, to know what everyone needs in any special way. So I think that's hard on the staff part.
So university is another job, not a true higher education experience. Is that what I'm kind of reading into this? Is that correct?
Yeah, like they're going to classes just in between jobs. So it's like they start with a class like beginning of the day and then they are going to their work. So that's when they don't have this space to really focus on what's going on at the university and also what are the extracurricular things at the university. They just don't have time, don't have space. They want to have like a private life, to have friends, family, partner, and that's might be hard for them to find more time for the university.
Yeah, not another obligation, really, extracurriculars, so to speak. But I mean, we'll be talking about staff mostly, but just as a question, you as an educator, as a teacher, do you feel there's something you can do to help students in more or less finding this experience, or is there anything you can do to engage students to foster active participation?
I think what's most important is to be open to the students, not just I'm going in class, I'm doing lecture and then I'm leaving, but to be there with them, to listen to them, what they need, and maybe share my own experience. I'm a young teacher, so I've been on the same place that they are now, like 2 years ago. So that's what we can bond with,
Okay.
and I think that's what's really important, to share how, for example, I gained my knowledge, my experience, where they can go to learn stuff outside of the university. So that's also an important part.
So kind of meeting eye to eye.
Yes, yeah,
And how do
exactly.
you do? I'm sorry. How do you do that in the classroom, or like where is there opportunity for relating to students like that during your lectures?
I think it has to start there, because that's the place when we actually meet, and we have like hour and a half during the week that I can see them and I can talk to them, and when I can bond with them. So that's really important to start there, so they will want to come to me and talk to me and ask me stuff. So they have to know that I'm open to that. So when I'm, for example, sharing my own experience, they know that I have some kind of experience and they can ask me about that, because I've been sharing this with them. So I think being open, maybe sometimes say some kind of joke, so they know that I'm also a human, not a robot or horrifying teacher that they have to be scared of. That
Yeah.
I'm a human, and then they can talk to me like to the human.
And I mean, this whole issue between being a partner in an educational experience for both sides and an authority figure of some sorts, how do you navigate that?
That's really hard, especially when you are a young teacher, because they also, like, often they think I'm just a student at the beginning.
Oh,
I had few occasions that they just started talking to me like I'm another student, not a
okay.
teacher. So that's funny when they are figuring out that I am the teacher, that I'm in this role. But I think being consistent,
Mhm.
telling them what the boundaries are, what
Yeah.
I need from them, and what can I give them, so they won't fear me, but they will know that there are, for example, consequences if they won't be showing at the lectures. So for me, this is the important part, to not be a horrifying teacher, but
Yeah.
to, maintain as a partner and a figure that they can look up to.
Yeah. Very interesting, this balance. Thank you so much. Dominique, to you, you're dealing with doctoral students, also students in a very, well, difficult educational phase of their lives. I actually know, I do not only suppose. What is student engagement to you? How does that kind of play out in your day-to-day activities?
First, I should say that in computer science, it's very specific, because people either come directly from their master studies to continue studying or doing a PhD and pursuing an academic career, or they come from the private industry with a very big dedication and motivation, because usually this means that they have to reduce their working hours, which means less income. They usually earn quite good money and a position as a doctoral researcher compared to a position in a private industry when you do something in computer science. Let's say it's not very well paid. So if they do their PhD, then they really want to, and they focus on it, and they make time for it. But I would say it's 50-50, because those who continue working and doing their PhD, they dedicate their time to the classes they have to do, to writing on their thesis, but they're not so much integrated in the academic environment. Let's put it like this. And a lot of the students don't come from Vienna or from an Austrian university. So what I try to do is some kind of onboarding for them to make them feel welcome, to become part of the computer science family, of being more integrated in the faculty, in our events, in our teaching. Usually their only contact point is their supervisor. But at one point, they always come to me because I'm in charge of the funding. So in case they want money, they have to talk to me first. Which brings me to the question of being an authority. When you're in charge of the money, you're automatically an authority. So they have to ask for permission. But as Weronika said, I try to balance between, we're not exactly being friends, but I don't want to put myself on some kind of higher level. I want to talk like face to face on eye level with them. And since I've been doing and still doing my own PhD, I know what it's like to be a doctoral student at the University of Vienna. So I know what they feel. I know the usual trouble they face. I try to give them advice and to be as open to make them understand that they come to me with any kind of problem. I'm not always the one who can solve the problem, but I can guide them where to go or how to continue with this, and to help them find a balance between, for those who are also employed, between teaching, pursuing their own career, and at the same time still being a student. Even though I know that being a doctoral student is not exactly the same as being a bachelor or a master student. They see themselves as part of the academic community already as researchers. But when it comes to completing their coursework, technically they're still students and they face the same problems as any other student. So we're trying to navigate between all these different roles they have doing a PhD in computer science.
That's very interesting. It seems like your students or many of them are very eager to complete their degree and obviously into the topic, but the whole university experience, like extracurriculars, I know it's the doctoral level, so it's different, but doctoral education can be lonely sometimes. And you mentioned onboarding and integrating these people also coming from foreign countries. What exactly is it that you do? What can you offer?
I've established an informal, we always call it info session or Q&A, which I try to do once a month, with the exception of the summer break where most people are not here anyway. For questions related to their studies, but also to get to know each other, to get to know people from other research groups, from other research clusters, to get to know more advanced students, which is especially important for the beginners, I think, especially for those who have no funding or position at the university, because they only come for their classes to university and they don't even have much contact with other people from their own research groups, except their supervisors. And we always do this like a breakfast or a brunch. So first we do the formal part where they can ask questions, where I give them information. And then we just sit together, drink coffee, eat sandwiches, we chat, we exchange information. We do some social events, like last year there has been a hiking. Mm-hmm. And what we also try to do, and by we, I mean the coordinators from the other faculties or doctoral schools, we try to do events together. Sometimes it's overlapping courses or workshops, but we're also trying to establish social events where students from different faculties, different research disciplines can just interact on a very informal level without any pressure, without the supervisors. And they can just talk about what problems they face and see that students from another faculty do have the same difficulties or different difficulties. And they can just get to know other people and exchange knowledge, experience. So they feel they have a kind of group where they belong to, and more than just one person to go to if they have questions, or sometimes they just need someone to talk to.
Yeah. Great. Let me just stay there for a minute. We all know or kind of grasp that a sense of belonging is important in higher education. In your view, how important is the social aspect for student success, for also the road to the degree?
I think it has become more important recently. Mm-hmm. Doctoral students now, they, as Weronika already said, they want a social life. They want to have time apart from their academic career. They want to have free time to spend with friends and family, to focus on other projects or on their personal life, or let's put it like that. And belonging is important, because if they don't feel they're part of some kind of community, then a lot of them drop out. So being lonely and feeling like the only person you have is your supervisor, and only when you have questions related to your thesis or your academic career, or even worse, if a supervisor assumes you want to pursue an academic career just because you want, or because you're doing a PhD, and especially in computer science, there are many options in the private industry, not just in the academic world. I think they are more committed, more motivated when they feel there's something else, they're not just being based on their research, or not reduced to being just a doctoral student, but seen as a person, as a human altogether, with everything around that's not part of their PhD studies. I think that's important for them, and it becomes more important. And it's something I see at the University of Vienna altogether, with the scientific and the administrative staff. So nobody just wants to focus just on the job anymore. It's more like that. And if you feel like you're valued, like you're part of a community, or even if you see it as some kind of family, there's more commitment, more motivation. And for PhD students, it means they're more willing to finish and also to stay in touch with their faculty after they completed their studies, because they feel they're part of something.
Great. That's great to hear. Weronika, to you, how important is belonging, is feeling part of a community, having friends, or being in this university environment together in a group for your students?
I think it's crucial for the success, because if you are more connected to people, then you have more information, for example, and you have more new connections. You can, if you are wondering how to do some kind of research, you may know someone who knows someone who will help you with that. And even with the basic studying life, to know what's going on in your classes, when there will be another test or etc. You have to have those connections because, for example, you won't be on a Facebook group. So you won't have those crucial information. So having like at least one friend in a group, it's for me, from my experience, from my students' experience, it's crucial. And as Dominique said, I think that if you have a friend, if you have someone to talk to, you have more chance to finish your grades. And for example, at my university in Poland, psychology studies takes 5 years. So going 5 years with hundreds of strangers can be very depressing, and you can feel very, very lonely. So I think it's very important for students to have those connections within the year group that they in, and with someone older, someone younger. So being in the structure of the university will help the students with their research, with their study, with finishing the grades. So I think it's really, really important.
Yeah, being embedded in a community. Great to hear that from both of you.